This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero, and if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to the boys.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are back once again with another pay-per-view preview for WrestleMania week. This time, we are previewing Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 2024 this coming Friday from Philadelphia. And I am joined by our expert, our go-to guy when it comes to all things Ring of Honor here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel and beyond, because you can go over to patreon.com/True Hill Heat every single week and see this gentleman here on Review of Honor. He is the man of 1,004 numbers, the StatKing.
What's going on, guys? So we've had quite a journey towards this Supercard of Honor. With a lot of matches that had no bearing whatsoever on this pay-per-view, and some matches that probably should have happened to have some bearing on this pay-per-view. But here we are. Let's talk about it.
This is very much like Ring of Honor events from like the past where they only built up 3 matches on the card and everything else was thrown together. That's literally like what Ring of Honor was on for like 2 decades. Of like their big show. They would really build like the 3 big matches because 9 times out of 10, that's the only ones you really need to build. And that's it. And that's what they did this year again. So I will say it's a lot better than a couple of their builds last year.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. But I mean, you don't really have to do much to top some of those.
They cleared Final Battle. I'll give them that. They cleared Final Battle. That's for damn sure. But yes, we're going to discuss it. We appreciate y'all if you're watching us during the premiere of this on the YouTube channel. If you're watching us on demand, we appreciate y'all as well. Remember to show that appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, sound off in the live chat as well in the comments down below and give us your prediction on Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor this coming Friday. Give us your predictions. Let us know who you think is going to win the top matches, whether it be for the ROH World Title, the ROH Women's World Championship. You got a fight without honor on this card. And if you like us talking about Ring of Honor, you can go over, like I said before, to patreon.com/True Hill Heat to watch StatKing on Review of Honor every single week. But what's your overall buzz level, StatKing, heading in to Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor this coming Friday from 0 to 10?
I mean, there's like 2 matches that I'm really looking forward to, so I'd say like a 6.
I'm at like a 6.5. There's 3 to 4 matches I'm actually really looking forward to. I think that they built to 3 of the matches very well. The 4th match is just off vibes, and the vibes alone for this one that we're going to actually start off with is why I'm looking forward to it. But let us know what matches you're looking forward to in the live chat if you're watching us on the premiere, in the comments down below. Sound off over there. But let's talk about Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor this coming Friday, because it's a big-time matchup that was announced on the last edition of Ring of Honor TV on Honor Club, as Stardom will be represented during WrestleMania week. They're going to have a big show. I believe this is on Thursday night, but Friday night, they will be a part of Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, as Mina Shirakawa, Mei Sera, and the World of Stardom champion Maika will team to Versailles Kamatani and Azumi of Queen's Quest. They will be teaming up with the leader of the Cosmic Angels, the former World of Stardom champion Tam Nakano. Stardom being represented, I think, is very cool on this card. And in the way they're being represented in this type of trios matchup, if you know the history of ROH and Supercard of Honor, the Supercard of Honor really became one of the staple hallmark pay-per-views for Ring of Honor all the way back in 2006 during WrestleMania weekend, all the way back almost 20 years ago when they did the Dragon Gate 6-man tag, one of their first ever 5-star matches in Ring of Honor. This Stardom Trios match kind of has the same vibes as far as another Japanese promotion coming in, being represented here. What do you think about this matchup? What do you know about the people in this matchup? And who do you think wins?
We'll start off with the fact that I know almost nobody in this matchup. We did have Mira Shirakawa on a match against Anna Jay. I think it was last week. That was the main event. So they've done a little bit of work to get us a little familiar with some of these women, but at the same time, they are. If I would not expect Stardom to send over women who are not going to be able to impress a crowd. So from that perspective, I don't know if you necessarily. We already know that Supercard isn't going to be like a ridiculously high level watched show. There's SmackDown's going to be going on, Hall of Fame.
Joey Janela's Spring Break is at the same time. It's not late night.
It's not. I'm not saying that it's. I don't want to say that it's a throwaway in that sense, but it's one of those things where it's like you can get away with having a match like this that doesn't have a lot of build in order to fill out a card while helping out a partner, while strengthening that relationship and being able to have talent that are going to, for all intents and purposes, if you really don't know that much about them, pretty much whatever they do will wow a viewing audience. And because of the who Stardom you would think that they would send over, anybody has the ability to steal the show. So this is a very good way to build up that partnership, and you can build from here to elsewhere. And starting with that Mira Shirakawa main event, starting with this kind of 6-woman tag match, you can then start to incorporate Stardom more over time and build out, and at least somebody can look at it and go, I may not know much about these women from a character perspective or whatever you want to call it, but I know that they're talented in ring. Let me give them more of an opportunity.
Yeah, and I know a bunch of people are gonna watch this, and they're primarily just a Ring of Honor fan or maybe an All Elite Wrestling fan, and they might not be familiar with this Stardom talent. Unfortunately, Ice Cube Son, we don't have a video package, but I'll just explain. I'll try to give my best description of everyone in this matchup. So Mina Shirakawa, that's the one on the far left for StatKing and anyone else who is not familiar with everybody. Like he said, Mina got the victory over Anna Jay a couple of weeks ago on Ring of Honor TV. Mina Shirakawa is very charismatic. She came in basically as like this like pop singer and dancer, and all her focus was on her boobas. That's how she became popular. It's because she has bigger boobas than a lot of boobs than a lot of the other girls in Stardom. But she developed herself, became an actual wrestler, and her style is very akin to an Orochi Tanahashi. She knows how to break down the legs. She does a lot of figure 4 submissions, and her offense is just great. And she's very charismatic, as you probably saw with the great dance that she did during her entrance on Ring of Honor TV. And her theme song sounds exactly like the theme to Fast Five. The it sounds very reminiscent of it. Shout outs to the crew of the Heel Marks podcast, Mark of Honor over on bodyslam.net. They were the ones that made me make that connection. Pointed that out to me. Our tag team partner, May Sarah, is, I believe, the current high-speed champion. So the high-speed title is their version of like the junior heavyweight division, where they are like fast-paced matches. Like they like zoom, they'll do a lot of near falls and stuff like that. And May Sarah is only 21 years old, and she had retired at the age of 19. And came back at the age of 21 and now is on like a great run with Stardom as the high-speed champion. And then finally, Micah, who is the one with the red hair to the, I guess, the left of Mina Shirakawa, closest to the other team. She's the World of Stardom champion. And the best way I can explain Micah's style is she's very much this strong style, Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto type style. She has like hard hitting. She's like a lady hoss. She will just have hard hitting matches. And she's a trainee of Taka Michinoku. So her finishing move is the Michinoku driver. Then the other team, you got the Queen's Quest duo. You got Izumi, who is considered like the prodigy of women's wrestling, not just Joshi or Stardom. Izumi is your one over on the far right of your screen. If you're facing the screen like I am, it would be the far right. She's only 22 years old, and Will Ospreay considers her the best women's wrestler in the world today. She's very much a kind of like female Will Ospreay at 21 years old. She could do the fast-paced matches. She does a lot of high flying, and she was the longest reigning high-speed champion in Stardom history. The one in the middle of the right-hand team is Tam Nakano, the former World of Stardom champion.
Her, I know.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, her story is very much akin. Scott E. Wrestling calls her the Stardom version of Naito. She was always kind of like skipped over. She was a part of like the top stars of the company, but never won the top prize until last year at their biggest show of the year, All-Star Queendom, where she defeated Julia to become the World of Stardom champion. But she suffered an injury and had to relinquish the title. She's still fighting her way back. And then finally on this team, you got Saya Kamatani, who's another one who's just coming back from injury. She was the longest reigning Wonder of Stardom champion, and she has very much like a high-flying style. She's like the only female that I've seen do a Phoenix Splash. Like, she is just she's one of the best high flyers in the world, regardless of gender. So to introduce the whole Stardom crew there, that's my best description of everybody that I know. To pick a winner, I'm going to go with Micah's team, since she's the World of Stardom champion.
Yeah, once you said she was the world champion, I was like, all right, that's going to be my pick.
Here is two people that you do know very well, StatKing, and you could probably tell the story of this feud a lot better because you've been watching Ring of Honor TV very closely, because this is honestly, in my opinion, been the best build going into Supercard of Honor, but it's just been they have just been giving us some great backstage segments for the past couple of months, whether it be with the boys. Unfortunately, we have bad news when it comes to the boys this week, but it all comes down to this: Dalton Castle one-on-one with Johnny TV, fight without honor. So explain for the people who aren't familiar about this rivalry.
All right, so this is actually the one that I'm the most looking forward to, because as you said, probably the best built. I mean, in my opinion, it is the best built out of all of these, because it's dating back to what's it called, Final Battle. So there was a Survival of the Fittest match for the vacant TV championship. During the match, Dalton Castle, who's one of the persons involved, is distracted by Johnny TV, and that costs him an elimination. Now, they had been going a little bit back and forth before that pay-per-view, but at the pay-per-view is really when this kick started. From there, Johnny TV and Dalton been going back and forth. Dalton was trying to get a match, couldn't get a match, finally did, and he loses the match. And he's trying to figure out what can he do to just get some vengeance. And they say, we'll give you a match, but you have to put something up in order for us to give you this match, because it's not in our interest to fight you. And he says, well, what do you want? I'll give you whatever you want. And they say, we want custody of the boys. And he is forced to face an existential crisis, if you will. Dalton's going through a downward spiral already as it is. He's not bathing. He's not changing his clothes. He's showing up
eating a sandwich during his entrance.
He's showing up in weird places, and he finally decides, you know what, I want this match more than anything in the world, more than even the boys. And he puts the boys on the line, which is just a weird sentence. And unfortunately, due to Taya's interference, he loses, and he loses custody of the boys to Johnny and Taya. If only all family court drama could end such spectacularly. And then he spirals even further And meanwhile, Johnny and Taya somehow misplaced the boys, which, as we found out today, they misplaced them all the way to the unemployment line. And now they, which Tony,
It's horrible.
Tony, I mean, I get it. You don't really give a shit about Ring of Honor right now as it stands, but like, why are you undercutting the best built match that you have on this pay-per-view by announcing 3 days beforehand that you release the two people?
Well, to be fair, he didn't announce it. To be fair, it was reported.
Okay, well, all right. Reported or allowing it to be reported that that you have released two out of the people most heavily involved in this feud. But because of everything that has happened and misplacing the boys and all of Dalton trying to get answers about where the boys are, how are they doing, and whatnot, we got an announcement from Jerry Lynn that there will be a fight without honor between Dalton Castle and Johnny TV at this pay-per-view, and I'm picking Dalton Castle.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Johnny TV has been very dominant in the driver's seat of the feud ever since Final Battle. So it is about time that Dalton gets his kind of come up. He gets his redemption and his revenge. It just would have been very appropriate, at least, to finish the story, finish Dalton's story, and have him reunite with the boys before you release them.
Yeah,
would have been nice. This would have been nice. Would have been a nice send-off, a nice season finale. And I'm sorry, Dalton Castle is a lot better with boys than without boys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, by far.
We'll see how it works without. Next, we have the Ring of Honor World Television Championship will be up for grabs. And this is one where we got to talk about the decision in making here, as Kyle Fletcher will defend against Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson has been on a roll on Ring of Honor TV, picking up a couple of victories in a row, picking up momentum. But there's also been other people who have been picking up momentum, particularly Ethan Page, who had a whole story about trying to win the title for his family. And he's been conspicuous by his absence. And all of a sudden, Lee Johnson said he was challenging for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship on the last episode of ROH TV. Kyle Fletcher defeated Blake Christian in the main event and accepted the challenge of Lee Johnson. What do you think about the decision to insert Lee Johnson in this matchup instead of Ethan Page? We don't know the story behind that, if Ethan is injured, what's going on there, but what do you think?
This one is definitely a head scratcher for me. I really don't understand what the thought process was here, because Ethan was going week after week after week with wins, pretty much. I want to say until, I want to say mid to late January. He was just pretty much doing every week. He was having a match, and he was, rightfully, he was cutting great promos. And during some of those promos, he was rightfully calling out the fact that Kyle's not there. And where is Kyle? Why is he? And now, granted, from an out of character perspective, we understand that Kyle's having visa issues. But from an in character perspective, Ethan did the right thing and said that Kyle was ducking him, which is smart. It's a great way to use what's going on to your advantage. And it just seems like the stars were aligning for Ethan to get the title shot. Now, whether or not he would have ended up winning, that's a separate thing altogether. But you can't have somebody be on this kind of a tear and then not have the payoff for it. And not only not have the payoff for it, but not really have an explanation as to why there is no payoff for it. Meanwhile, that's not to take anything away from Lee Johnson, because Lee Johnson's been picking up wins here and there. He's been doing the work to deserve a title shot. Whether it should be a title shot at a pay-per-view is a separate argument. Like, it could realistically be a main event of a show. Like, as I was watching the show, I'm thinking to myself, Blake Christian has done fuck all to deserve a TV title shot.
I love how they said, based on his independent record.
Like, what the fuck? Meanwhile, Commander has been winning pointless four corner survival matches week after week after week, and he gets nothing. But Blake Christian's been doing great, not on Ring of Honor TV, so we're going to give him a Ring of Honor TV title shot.
Just because he can lose.
Yeah.
And I know they're probably saving Commander for like Death
Yeah.
Before Dishonor or
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
other pay-per-views.
But like while I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, I was like, this would have been a great moment for Lee Johnson to get that title opportunity that he's kind of been building towards. And then Ethan Page comes out and says, give me the title shot at
Or Commander. I would have took Commander.
Or Commander.
I feels like Lee, it was like the third choice.
Right, right. So I think we both are going to be in alignment here on who we pick.
I mean, it's obvious Kyle Fletcher gets the win here. Like, they haven't built Lee Johnson properly to feel like a guy that's on the cups of winning the title.
No.
And if this was Ethan Page, then we would really have a hard choice here. Because Ethan Page, they have built up.
Right.
So if he got the shot here, then it's a little bit more unpredictable.
And finally, fun little piece of trivia. This match is made up of their counterparts tag team.
Yes, Sky Blue and Julia Hart's worse halves. If you ask certain fans, I was very much surprised to finish up on the Ethan Page point because of how weird it was with Lee Johnson inserting himself, and because we've heard nothing about Ethan Page. I was very surprised. We talked about it or alluded to it earlier that Fightful Select reported on April 1st that AEW did their first ever round of mass talent cuts. I was kind of surprised Ethan wasn't a part of that, because I was like, it was so weird how it happened. I thought like they were gonna like let him go and stuff. So I'm happy that he's still job, because he's so talented, and I want to see more for him. And there's a bunch of people who do watch Ring of Honor who have been on social media like asking this question of what's going on with Ethan Page? Why isn't Ethan Page getting this shot at the Ring of Honor World Television Championship?
Yeah, hopefully they do give us some kind of explanation, and it's not just we don't actually get an explanation. Ethan just shows up and is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my title shot sooner or later. I just gotta earn it all over again. So we'll see how it happens. By the way,
I know.
Okay,
I know. Yeah,
but yeah, it's just a really interesting situation, because this was also to the point of having all these four corner survival matches. You could have created something really interesting if you had done a four corner survival match for the TV championship. You could have put Kyle in there by virtue of being the champion. You could have put Ethan because he's had this incredible run of singles matches and has earned it. You could put Lee Johnson in there because he has made an argument and made a strong case as to why he should have this championship match. And then who's your fourth person? Commander, who has been winning four corner survival matches. And because by virtue of winning the matches and by virtue of being so really good specifically at four corner survival matches, now he becomes a wild card in the situation about who's going to win the match. So it's really a lot of different possibilities of what they could have done for determining who was going to be in this one.
Yes, I actually do really like that idea, and sorry for me disappearing and then popping back in for the people watching this.
Pulling an Ethan Page on us, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, no, Kyle Fletcher.
Yes, Kyle Fletcher, because I came back. I am actually back. We don't know about Ethan. But yes, we both are picking Kyle Fletcher to retain the Ring of Honor TV title, but we need to determine who's going to be the first ever Ring of Honor Women's World TV Champion, as it will be the finals. Queen Aminata going one-on-one with Billy Starks. I have to say, the Ring of Honor Women's TV title tournament has been a real kind of eye-opener to how much talent is under contract to Tony Khan in their women's division. And I got to give the tournament credit for getting better as it went on. I thought that the two semifinal matches from both of these ladies, Billie Starkz getting the win over Mercedes Martinez and Queen Aminata defeating Red Velvet, were the two best matches of the tournament so far, especially that Aminata and Red Velvet match, which I thought was Red Velvet's best match of her career. And Aminata has been opening eyes ever since 2024 started, being the workhorse of both AEW and ROH. Billie Starkz has the big story with her being the number 1 or number 4,737 minion of Athena. That whole story, can she live up to the huge legacy and the big footsteps of Athena here and win the Ring of Honor Women's TV title, or will it be Queen Aminata's time to be the first African-born Women's TV champion? What you got here, and what have you thought about the tournament?
So I at the beginning of the tournament, I was a little upset with the brackets, mainly because we already are dealing with a show that I would say 80 to 90% of the matches are obvious and who's going to win. And if you're going to have already be at quarterfinals, then don't put some of these women up against people that we know they're going to beat. And some of those women who are part of this TV tournament, we'd never seen before, ever. And at least under the Tony Khan Ring of Honor brand. So they were, however, having like all of these women's matches, especially a lot of these four corner survivals matches with women that did not make it into the tournament. And I figured those women should have been. And if you had made the argument while these four corner survival matches were happening that this was how they were determining seeding, then that actually gave a reason for those matches to happen and affected the bracketology of it. If you don't do that, and then you just have people not even part of Ring of Honor be part of this tournament, it just felt kind of weird. And of course, the women that were going to lose lost. And as we moved forward, to your point, matches started to increase in length. They started to increase in quality because they're given the time to be able to work. And so over time, the tournament really got good, especially once we got to the semifinals. Now, to me, it would have been one of the best tournaments that I've seen in recent time if they had done, an actual kind of seeding and establishing who is going to be in this tournament beforehand, instead of just throwing it out there a month and a half after saying we're going to have a TV title tournament.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be building your tournament basically at the end. However, all of that journey to get where we are now, I'm happy with the result. I like who we have in this final two. This tournament definitely has felt from day one built for Billie Starkz to win, or at least be in the finals. And so for her to be in the finals, that kind of was a given. So the question was, who was going to be on the other side? And for it to be Queen Aminata, that's really cool for her. Like, it's an amazing moment for her. If we want to view Ring of Honor through the lens of this is designed to be a form of developmental, then for somebody like Aminata to be in the finals is a really smart move. Because what you have here are two very young talent who are really good in the ring, both of them, and either one of them could win. Now, granted, we all kind of feel as though this was built for Billie Starkz to win, but Aminata has been on such a tear on the flip side that you could make a credible argument for Aminata to win. I still think Billie's going to win, but I appreciate the fact that you have created a situation where it could realistically go either way. However, I am still going to take Billie Starkz because I think that it's just kind of her moment and her time, and it's kind of led up towards this. However, I would absolutely love it if Aminata won and we saw Billie Starkz actually go through a spiral and have to sit there and go, I couldn't beat Athena. I've now lost this tournament. What do I need to do? And fully embrace that Athena style of beating the shit out of people and being that ruthless, heel that, at least for Athena, sometimes she's getting cheers, particularly depending on who she's facing, because of the work that she's put in. I would love to see that as well. But I think that Tony, being who Tony is, I have a feeling Billy Starks is going to win.
I am actually gonna go with Queen Amanada here because I feel the story is still Billy Starks being the one to end this Athena run, in my opinion. I feel like there's still the story there where, you got to the final battle match by Athena still being in her ways of kind of keeping Billy under her thumb and Billy being rebellious and kind of somewhat embracing all of Athena's teachings and fighting back against her. I think that the route that you explained towards the end there, the latter part, that's where we need to go to get to the next matchup between the two, is Billy fully embracing it and embracing it even more than Athena does and going off the deep end to the point that Athena then has to stop Billy from post-match attacks and Billy's going crazy, and then Billy goes so crazy that she turns against the person that brought her on this path, and that's how we lead to Athena and Billy 3.
I'm more than happy to be wrong in this one. More than happy.
And I feel like that's the route because I mean, Billy, when she was aggressive in this tournament, she was having the best matches. And Mercedes was physical, hard-hitting matchup. Her and Diamante, that was probably the best Diamante match I've seen since she's been in Ring of Honor, was her and Athena in this. Her and Billy in this tournament. So yeah, I really think that Billy needs to be a heel. And Queen Amanada, you kind of have to go with the hot hand, and that's what AEW has done a lot since last fall, is the Sky Blues, the Julia Harts. They're young, but they were used a lot. They caught on with the fans. They got a connection with the fans, and they just went with them. I feel like the way they're going to do that with Queen Amanada is giving her this women's TV title.
I mean, part of the reason why I'm going with Billy is because of who I have winning the women's world title match.
That is fair. And then you got the Women's World Championship up for grabs. It is Athena, the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, the greatest Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. And this match is billed as the greatest versus the greatest because she will face what many consider the greatest AEW Women's World Champion in history, the 3-time and longest reigning AEW Women's World Champion, Hakara Shida. I've really enjoyed the build to this matchup and Athena's paranoia about Hakara Shida and just the little moments like the backstage segment they had with MIT where I think it was Lexi brought up that Athena lost to Shida in Shimmer and Billy says, "You lost to Shida?" Like that little moment is one of my favorite moments on the build to Supercard of Honor, because Billy's saying that and then Athena going apoplectic and just, what? No, do you remind me of that? Just going crazy. And then the other little moment of this build that was so great was when Athena sat at ringside
that's my favorite one. That's
Athena and Rachel Ellering, where she fake threw her to Athena and Athena fell out of her chair. Oh my God. I love how Athena has sold how Shida is in her head. What have you thought about the build? Who do you think wins?
I've liked the build because it's been short but effective. And for a champion who has been champion has as long as Athena has, she's had a lot of proving ground matches versus full-fledged feuds. A lot of it has been, more just who's the flavor of the week that I'm beating. And so for this feud, it feels like that, but it also feels more developed because they've had those segments. And what I liked about it is that Athena has a very strong point. She's like, I've beaten everybody. Who is left for me to beat? I can't think of anybody. And who shows up but Hikaru Shida, who is automatically on paper a perfect contender because she is a 3-time AEW Women's Champion. she does have the longest single reign out of any of the AEW Women's Champions. She's on paper the perfect person to be a threat to Athena, and Athena's shift in demeanor really has told the story, because for when she was feuding with Nyla, she still had that the chip on the shoulder kind of aspect, until Nyla really started beating the living shit out of her. And it was like, okay, we're gonna get Nyla's physicality over, and that's gonna be the threat. However, Athena never kind of came across as though she considered it a threat. She didn't really consider it a threat. Whereas here, they have not really touched, but Athena is like almost shaking in her boots about the fact that she has to face Shida. Now, the reason why I'm picking Shida is because of the fact that if Athena does beat Shida, there really isn't anybody left for her to face until we get to that potential Billy Starks match. And that's really my problem with it, is that if you aren't going to be effectively building up the roster and the women on the roster, you're going to be forced to have longer title reigns, and then eventually you just have to change the title because there's just really nobody left for you to face. And that's it's unfortunate, but like, I can't. If she beats Shida, who is she supposed to go after next? Assuming that let's say Billy loses to Aminata, Athena beats Shida, Billy has to start going through a spiral that takes some time. If Athena,
I think they have someone right there on the Ring of Honor roster who can, like, they need someone to bide her time. Basically, they used the Nyla Rose program. It was a 2-month program, but it was to buy time until they started the Shida program heading into Supercard of Honor. I think all she really needs is something to buy time until they want to do the program for Death Before Dishonor. And I think that's the reason why Taya Valkyrie is not in the finals of the women's TV title tournament, is they gave Aminata the honor of being the first person to beat her. But I think that Taya is going to go back on a winning streak, and then she's going to get Athena, because there's a reason why they've kept them separated, really.
I can see that. Do you have concerns there with Taya being a heel and Athena basically being a heel as well?
Athena is at that point where it just put her in there with whoever, and
With whoever,
yeah, and she's a tweener. She's very much a tweener. You saw that in these last 2 feuds with Nyla Rose, where she was very much the baby face against the monster heel, and then here where she's very much the insecure heel champion against the dominant babyface coming in, the conquering babyface hero who's coming into the territory. So I like the fact that she's at the point, and she's showing a different side of herself. What, a full year and change into her title run, she's given us a different story and a different side of her character. I think that I'm not gonna say that, oh, there's no one left for Athena after this. I think that there's more story to tell with the Athena title run, so that's why I'm gonna go with Athena retaining.
Gotcha. I could buy into that, yeah.
But the main reason why I'm doing that, because I think the big title change happens here, because it will be for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Eddie Kingston defends against Mark Briscoe. This is a match built on respect. Eddie Kingston said that there was one man who was supposed to get a shot at the Ring of Honor World Championship last year, but he got hurt before his title shot. He never got it again, so he wants to give him the opportunity. 11 years to the day that his brother won his first Ring of Honor World Championship. I was there live at Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City when Jay Briscoe defeated Kevin Steen at Supercard of Honor 2013. Can we see another Briscoe finally win the big one in Philadelphia, a city that the Briscoes are very accustomed to, have so much history in? Is this the end of Eddie's run? And is this the start of Mark Briscoe finally winning the big one?
This is it's an interesting match because there really has been zero build for this. However, it is a match that, because of the little build that they have done, it feels perfect. It feels
It's
like it's
very.
supposed to.
I'll tell you what the build has been like. It's been very much like the build to that Jay Briscoe Kevin Steen matchup.
Yeah.
They literally in 2013 they just announced the match, and most people thought, oh, this is a throwaway. Steen's gonna retain because he's versing one of the Briscoes. People did not think much of it because of the way it was announced. They did not really build to it on ROH TV, and that's what made it such. It's the most shocking Ring of Honor World Title change in history, in my opinion.
And this was built basically through an Eddie announcement, and then this week a Mark promo.
Yep.
Like it's
and Eddie's promo at the Okada loss, which I thought was a good touch. I like that little promo that he did when he talked about Homicide calling him and telling him that he needs to toughen up, he needs to retain the title that means so much to Homicide at Supercard.
Like and the thing is, it's so little because that's almost what you would expect to kick it off. But Mark's promo and just the the historicalness of it, the timing, the place, it just feels perfect for what they're trying to do. And they did this whole thing about the Triple Crown Championship, but hey, ain't no Triple Crown anymore. So and he can lose that Ring of Honor title, just like that. So this feels it feels like it's going to be a Jay Driller of perfection. Put that title on Mark. I'm the other reason why I'm really hoping that there is a title change is because Mark is, no offense to Mark, so not important on the grand scheme of things for AEW that he can appear on Ring of Honor as opposed to the past 3 Ring of Honor champions who have not appeared on the show pretty much at all.
To be fair, though, he is involved in the AEW rivalry. Which
don't.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I am just saying, sir. Let's be real here about it.
It's a hilarious if you break down all the championships, it's absolutely hilarious because you have a Ring of Honor, you have a Ring of Honor tag team champions that he doesn't give a shit about. You have Ring of Honor Trios champions who are more interested in the AEW Trios champions. You have a pure champion who is injured. You have a TV champion who can't cross borders, apparently. And then
until about a month ago.
And his dog was winning the title on Twitter. And then you have Eddie, who also is more focused on AEW. At least Athena was there.
Yes, at least Athena's here. And that's why she's still got to stay here because she's the only one that cares about Ring of Honor specifically. Sorry to tell y'all. But yes, I think this is the big moment for Mark. And I think that Mark also is involved in a storyline on Collision specifically. He's not really on Dynamite that much. And we all know, most of us know, Ring of Honor is taped during Collision taping. So he's still going to be there. So regardless, he's still going to be there. But I mean, that hasn't changed anything with Undisputed Kingdom is probably still there, but they never show up on Ring of Honor TV either. They're not even on this card when it was pretty easy to make the Undisputed Kingdom versus OC and Trent.
Yeah. They just pinned them, so
just pin them, why not? And we know they're gonna lose on Wednesday anyway.
Actually, that's what I thought was gonna happen after they beat them.
And they already kind of did. They did a whole angle on ROH TV with those guys. So you could say that was the build. We built another matchup on ROH TV. Do you think that we get that added to the show? And do you think we get Bullet Club Gold added to the show?
I don't think we get Bullet Club Gold, but I would not be surprised if we got that tag title added in some way, shape, or form to this. Whether even if it was, it would be really cool. It would be really cool. It would be if they just did it during the show. If they if during the course of the show through backstage segments, they just were like, da 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 da, we're here, I beat you, da da da. Let's just, we got the crowd. Let's just have this match. That would be awesome just because of an organic feel to it. Sometimes that's better than just Tony Khan tweeting a match announcement. Like, give somebody a reason to go, oh, well, stuff like is legitimately happening throughout the course of this pay-per-view. And it would just be something different. But I mean, I hope we do get the tag title match. I can't see Bullet Club Gold showing up and defending the titles. It just
I
doesn't.
could see them defending it against like Action Andretti and Top Flight. It would be nice to see Top Flight on this card, considering what happened last year.
I think it'd be, if they were going to do something like that, I think it should be, I don't know if I would pick Andretti and Top Flight. I would pick random assortment of jobbers, which technically they fit the bill for that. But I would pick random assortment.
So wrong. That's so wrong.
Listen, I mean, Action Andretti beat Chris Jericho. So maybe I'm wrong. But
they could do the GCW All Stars of Blake Christian, Gringo Loco, and Jack Cartwheel.
Yeah. And then you just have like Acclaim jump them. Like after that. See, now that would be a great way to do it. But we'll see. I mean, honestly, I'm just amazed Tony hasn't somehow filled this out to be 13 matches.
I'm quite surprised that we are recording this on a Monday and we're only at 6 matches for this card. Even though I'm fairly certain this will be 10 by bell time on Friday. It will be 10 matches with the 0 hour having like 2 additional matches.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have double the matches by the end of the week. Congrats. But yes, StatKing, thank you so much for joining me to preview ROH Supercard of Honor. I love your expertise when it comes to Ring of Honor. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they can see your reviews of Ring of Honor.
You guys can always catch my reviews here on our Patreon channel, on our YouTube channel. And I just want to give a shout out to you guys for the X-Men 97 reviews. Those have been really good stuff. I've been following along because I haven't had a chance to watch the episodes themselves, but I was like, you guys will be able to break it down for me before I get a chance. But yeah, you guys can catch me here on the Patreon channel, on the YouTube channel. I pop up here and there on different live streams where I can. I usually try to time them around when my wife is working. So
Smart man. Can't get it into the wife's time. But yes, check out our review of Honor over at patreon.com/TrueHillHeat, or hit the join button and become a member, because you can also check out the review of Honor that way as well. And like StatKing said, thank you, StatKing, for those kind words. And everyone, go over and check out True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment with our X-Men 97 coverage. We did episode 3 review. We're coming back in 2 weeks with episode 4 and 5, because there's a lot of content for us to do for this week on the wrestling channel. We got our WrestleMania 40 preview that is up right now, that we were live earlier today with that, so you can go over and check that out. Also check out our NJPW Sakura Genesis 2024 preview with myself and Jay News. Check out the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. We will be live on Friday, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time, with True Hill Heat 271, previewing everything from WrestleMania weekend, including final predictions for Supercard of Honor from Miss Chrissy Love and Top Guy JJ. But thank you so much to the StatKing, and thank you all of you. Remember to drop the thumbs up, comment down below, and let us know who you think is going to win at Supercard of Honor. Will Mark Briscoe finish the story? Will Eddie Kingston retain Athena, Hakara Shida? Who will walk out the women's TV title? Let us know in the comments down below, and share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family, and hit the subscribe button and the bell to stay notified for all the great content during WrestleMania week. But for StatKing, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our ROH Supercard of Honor 2024 preview. We are signing off until next time.